What's up guys, it's your boy Legend and I am back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto was sent to the Akame got killed universe part 8? If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. The like goal for the video is going to be 6 likes, but if we could get 10 that would be nice. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. Naruto lay flat on his bed, eyes fixed on the wooden ceiling of his room, the dim lantern light casting long, trembling shadows across the walls. His arms were folded beneath his head, and his mind was a storm he couldn't still. His breathing was calm, but inside chaos reigned. 3 different women filled his thoughts, and none of them would leave him in peace. Leone, the bold, fiery woman who kissed him without hesitation. Her lips had been soft, confident, and real. She didn't hide what she felt, and she didn't mind that he liked others as well. That alone made her dangerous, comforting, and tempting. Sheele, quiet, awkward, and kind. There was something peaceful about her presence, like a calm river on a windless day. She knew he liked her. He'd seen it in her eyes when they spoke, in the way she looked away too quickly and smiled too gently, and yet she never said anything, not yet. And then there was Sayo, the innocent one, sweet and honest, sharp in battle but soft at heart. She had no idea how he felt, or so he thought. Naruto groaned softly and covered his eyes with one arm. "This could get messy in so many ways," he muttered aloud. The words had barely left his lips when he heard the rapid footsteps echoing down the hallway. Then, bang! His door slammed open with dramatic force, and in stepped 2 figures, Sayo and Leone. "Naruto, there's a tournament being held tomorrow," Sayo said, her tone urgent but excited. "It's a big one. 100,000 gold prize, and the winner gets to meet General Esdeath." Leone grinned, leaning on the doorframe with casual confidence. "You could use this as a way to gather intel, maybe even size her up for when we eventually fight her. And hey, that prize money wouldn't hurt either." Naruto sat up slowly, the creak of his bed frame matching the furrow in his brow. His eyes moved from Sayo to Leone, taking in their expressions. Sayo's enthusiasm, Leone's cool smirk, and for just a moment, he allowed himself to admire them. Both women were beautiful in completely different ways, and both were looking at him like they expected something. "When's the tournament?" he asked finally. Sayo answered quickly. "Tomorrow, noon sharp. We'll need to get you registered soon, but, well, we kind of already did." Naruto blinked. "You what?" Leone chuckled, flicking her golden hair over her shoulder. "We signed you up last night. You're officially contestant number 42. Naruto laughed under his breath and shook his head. "Guess I'm in then." Sayo's smile brightened at his answer, and with a cheerful "see you in the morning," she turned and left the door. The door was slightly ajar. Leone, however, remained. She stepped further into the room and plopped down onto the bed beside Naruto, bouncing lightly on the edge. "What's on your mind, Naruto?" she asked, leaning back onto her hands. Naruto gave her a sidelong glance, then turned his head toward the half-open door. "Why are you eavesdropping, Sayo?" The room fell silent. Then a slow, sheepish shuffle could be heard. Sayo crept back into view, her face crimson and eyes wide with guilt. She clutched her hands nervously in front of her. I'm sorry. I wanted to know. Leone told me you had a crush on me. I didn't mean to spy, Leone raised both their hands in mock surrender, a sheepish grin on her face. Guilty. I might have let it slip. Naruto sighed and rubbed the bridge of his nose. Of course you did. Sayo stepped closer, her voice soft but resolute. I just wanted to know if it was true. If you really like me. She looked vulnerable in that moment, nervous, but not frightened, not hesitant. Naruto sat up straighter, looking her in the eyes. Yeah, he said, I do like you. Sayo blushed even deeper, her gaze lowering for a heartbeat, but when she looked back up, there was something new in her eyes, a glimmer of warmth, of hope. What Naruto didn't know was that Sayo held a quiet crush on him ever since he saved her life when they had first joined Night Raid. She remembered the way his chakra had burned like sunlight through the infection that was in her body, the strength he'd shown, the calm in his voice. That memory had stayed with her, and now, standing in his room, her feelings had been confirmed. She smiled softly. Thank you for telling me. Leone gave Naruto a playful nudge on the arm and stood. I'll leave you two to it, she said, heading for the door with a wink. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. With the flick of her hair, she vanished down the hall. Naruto glanced at Sayo again, unsure of what to say next. But for now, the silence between them didn't feel awkward. It felt peaceful. The next day dawned, bright over the capital. The skies deceptively clear for what promised to be a brutal event. Citizens crowded into the Colosseum, eager to witness the spectacle promised by the Empire, a tournament where the strongest would rise and a single victor would earn a massive reward and a rare opportunity to meet the infamous General Esdeath. Naruto stood in the shaded corridor of the arena, adjusting his collar. His name had been called, and now he was being ushered into the open sunlight of the fighting pit. His opponent, contestant number 41, a short, arrogant woman with close-cropped auburn hair and a medic symbol emblazoned on her shoulder. Her name was Ivy March, and her confidence seemed to outweigh her actual experience. Naruto raised an eyebrow as she approached with a swagger that didn't match her stature. He remembered reading the roster Sayo and Leone gave him, including occupations. Apparently the girls registered him as a mercenary. Go figure. The horn sounded, signaling the start of the fight. Ivy immediately bolted forward like a boulder launched downhill, reckless, fast, and absolutely uncoordinated. Is she serious? Naruto muttered, standing completely still, hands tucked casually in his pockets. She opened with a wild left hook. Naruto ducked beneath it lazily, his hands not even twitching. That was all he needed to know. Anyone who started a fight with a hook wasn't a trained fighter. A slow jab followed. He leaned his head out of the way. Naruto jumped back smoothly, still completely relaxed. You know, he called out, if you keep attacking this recklessly, you're gonna get hurt. Shut up and fight, Ivy shouted, charging at him again. She launched a surprisingly clean roundhouse kick towards his head, but Naruto stepped in before the leg could fully extend. Their bodies were suddenly chest to chest, and with practiced ease, he hooked his right arm under her raised leg and swept her support leg out from underneath her. She landed hard on the ground. She blinked up in surprise just in time to feel something cold and sharp press against the skin of her throat. Naruto's expression hadn't changed. Give up, he said plainly. Face flushed with a mix of humiliation and begrudging awe, Ivy raised her hands in surrender. The announcer declared Naruto as the winner. Naruto offered Ivy a hand, and she took it. He pulled her up with a broad grin. She muttered a thanks and stumbled off. Up in the Imperial stands, Esdeath leaned forward, in her ornate chair, her elbows on her knees and her gloved hands clasped together. Run stood beside her, observing. A faint blush dusted her cheeks. Her voice, soft but firm, slipped out before she even realized it. I want him. Run turned towards her, blinking. Are you sure he's who you want, Esdeath? We're only in the first stage. She leaned back again, composed, but still clearly interested. I know what I want, and he's what I want. The tournament raged on. Naruto breezed through the match after match, his movements precise, efficient, and borderline graceful. His shinobi training outclassed everyone. Every contestant who came at him. His reputation in the crowd quickly grew. Contestant number 42 became a fan favorite. Fighters twice his size wielding massive weapons fell with barely an effort. None of them had faced the Akatsuki. None of them had fought a tailed beast. And none of them were Naruto Uzumaki. He reached the finals without so much as a scratch. His final opponent stood across from him, a hulking man in a horned bull mask and a thick apron of chainmail. According to the roster, the man was a blacksmith who wielded a spiked mace with terrifying force. The crowd roared as the horn blew. The man charged forward, mace raised high. Naruto sidestepped a clumsy downward swing and dropped to one knee, sweeping the man's legs from underneath him. As the man fell forward, Naruto pounced on his back, slipping an arm under the man's chin and locking in a rear naked choke. He squeezed, not hard, just enough to restrict the blood flow to his brain. Seconds later, the man slumped to the dirt, unconscious. Victory! Contestant number 42. The Coliseum erupted. Naruto stood, brushing dust off of his pants, and offered a small grin. Sayo and Leone could be heard cheering loudly from the observation box, and he couldn't help but glance their way. He didn't care about the money. He didn't care about the fame. He'd only entered because they asked him to. But then the cheers abruptly quieted. Whispers rippled throughout the crowd. Naruto turned slowly. From the arched gate of the arena, a tall figure approached with confidence. She walked with purpose, hips swaying slightly, her long legs accentuated by thigh-high boots. Her all-white military uniform clung to her flawless form, a contrast to the wild blue hair that flowed like a glacier-fed river. General Esdeath. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. She was stunning, more so than anyone he'd ever seen. He couldn't look directly at her without feeling a flutter of something dangerous in his chest. She stopped a few feet in front of him. You fight well, she said with a sharp smile. You even won the entire tournament with little effort. Naruto scratched the back of his head and chuckled. I guess I got lucky. Now for your reward. She continued. He expected a medal or a chest of gold or something. Instead, Esdeath reached between her cleavage, digging around for something small. Naruto turned his head quickly, face flushing red. Oi! What are you doing? Click. Naruto froze. A metallic sensation encircled his neck. He looked down. It was a collar. A thick, reinforced collar, etched with strange sigils and a tag that simply read, Property of Esdeath. His eye twitched. What the hell? From now on, she said calmly, tugging lightly on a leash attached to the collar. You are mine. She turned to walk away. The collar tightened slightly. Naruto didn't move, didn't even budge. She paused, looked back, and saw that he hadn't budged. He looked ready to rip the collar off and incinerate it, but he didn't. Because of what Leone told him the night before, to try and get information. Naruto sighed, long and deep, shoulders slumping, and then he began to walk. Behind Esdeath, behind the woman who just declared him as her possession. With every step, he thought the same thing. I'm so gonna regret this. But guys, I'm gonna end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.